let's move on over to USC and the number 6 ranked team in the country. Tell you what, breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. They're late in the third, early in the fourth when they finally were able to pull away from San Jose State. They beat the Spartans 56-28. The offense for USC looked fantastic. We'll talk about Zachariah Branch here in a minute, the true freshman. Uh, but guys, the offense was never the question for USC. We not even for a second doubted that the Trojans would be able to put up points, especially with Caleb Williams running the show at quarterback. The issue is that Alex Grinch somehow is employed still in college football and not just in a group of five program. He's at a power five championship caliber program, and his defenses continue to be mediocre at best. It didn't take very long before the Fire Alex Grinch threads started up on Reddit or the team sites.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. If your team wins with 56 points and over 500 yards of offense, you should feel great about your week one result. And I feel like it's exactly the opposite for USC right now. They got outrushed. It's not a massive part of their game, but they did get outrushed. Massive props to San Jose State for what they're able to do there. But I mean, look, there were some real issues on that defense. Even schematically, I think I saw at one point in time the defensive end transfer Anthony Lucas ended up out in coverage. And I just kind of wonder why you would put a defensive end in coverage. And in most cases, I know that sometimes you can get like a tricky, scheme where you're trying to, dial up a blitz and you don't know where the pressure is. So one guy just kind of drops 5 yards and sits in his zone just to make sure. But splitting him out in coverage and stuff like that, I don't know, man. I'm interested to see if they're going to make any adjustments after this, if there's going to be a conversation about mindset or mentality. Because for all the transfers that they brought in and all the guys that they, brought in to fix the defensive issue, right? And there were certainly some good plays. Bear Alexander knocked one down. That was fun to watch. It was cool to see some of these guys get on this team and start to play better. But if you're a Trojans fan right now, you're looking at this and saying, how did we give up almost 400 yards of offense to San Jose State? What is Washington going to do? What is Oregon going to do? What is Utah going to do, right? What do you think will happen there when you're not just playing better defenses to keep your offensive outputs probably a little lower, but then you're going up against better offenses, better caliber players, higher, talent levels, teams that have been there. I don't know. I don't know that you can feel great about it if you're USC. You won the game. Congratulations, right? You won your week one. People come out sloppy, but I don't think that USC fans are breathing near as easy as Notre Dame fans are right now.
Yeah, definitely not. And I think, the perception of those two teams is probably flip-flopped in a lot of people's minds, despite the offensive firepower at USC. Again, like you said, we weren't questioning the offensive firepower. It was going from the word go. And to me, yeah, the rush defense is what's really concerning. Because, Gary, if you bring that graphic back up, giving almost 200 yards on the ground to the San Jose State fighting Spartans is not going to cut it, plain and simple. It's not going to cut it. And I'm not completely out on the USC defense. I do still think that they could find a way to bounce back and find a way to really improve this year. But, man, it's really hard to see them being successful long-term if they're giving up just gashing runs like they were last night. It wasn't, it wasn't that San Jose State ran the ball 100 times and they were just averaging 2 yards a carry, right? They were giving up big gashing runs and sustaining drives in that way. And that was my key going into this game is I don't want to see them let them sustain long touchdown drives. And that's exactly what USC let them do a few times. So just like you said, Garrett, if they're playing San Jose State, that's fine. When they play UCLA, when they play, heck, even Arizona State, right? Like that's going to be really difficult for them to find success.
Well, and the thing that everyone was talking about was that, 3rd and 22, where the quarterback just kind of takes off behind the defense. Nobody had their eyes on the quarterback. They were playing a man, kind of look. And then he just takes off around the corner. No tackling existed. And so he just picked up 26 on 3rd and 22. But for me, it was letting them right at the end of the second half or right at the end of the second quarter as they're going into halftime, letting them get the ball back and march down the field and score to make it a one-possession game going into the half. that's the kind of thing where it's situational defense, right? USC played okay situational defense last year. They didn't play great defense, but if they needed to play
They're
at the
bailed
right
out by
time,
turnovers and sacks a lot.
yeah, they figured that out. But that didn't happen in that situation. I mean, they were playing San Jose State, so they made some good plays, but looking at the situations, they kind of shot themselves in the foot a couple times, and you can't do that against better teams in the Pac-12. You just can't do that against some of those prolific offenses led by quarterbacks that have been there for a while, right? Quarterbacks that have been playing college football for a little bit. You can't do that.
They did not force a turnover yesterday. Certainly a little bit of a red flag, especially when you're talking about playing lesser competition. Now, positive, and we can talk about him and move on down the line, but is 5-star freshman Zachariah Branch, a true star in the making. Kid had a chance to go out and seize the spotlight, and boy, he did that. 4 balls for 58 yards and a first touchdown for his career was his receiving stat line. Oh, and he returned a kickoff for a score as well. He's the first freshman at USC to have both a receiving and a special teams touchdown in the same game since Adoree Jackson did it in 2016.
Wow.
Listen, USC has a plethora of weapons. That's not the issue, but it is really fun to watch a kid like Zachariah Branch, who was the top wide receiver in the country, really have his moment in week one. Talk about having a game plan around a guy as an 18-year-old. There's not too many of those that are going to keep defensive coordinators up at night. I think Zachariah Branch is going to be someone that's able to do that. And then we haven't even mentioned Caleb Williams, but he was ho-hum, 278 yards, 4 touchdowns, very efficient with the football. Yeah. Fumbles a snap, picks it up, throws a 70-yard touchdown strike.
One of the most incredible throws I've ever seen.
Yeah,
just
to Dorian Singer.
Back foot, 70 yards. Sure. Yeah.
So like that.
First overall pick in 2024. Thank you. Next. So very curious to see if USC ends up being one of the great half teams, and if that keeps them out of playoff contention, or if they can rally the defense and put together a complete team.
I do want to point out Cordero looked really, really good in this game.
Yeah.
His stats are on the page. He was great. He is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think we're going to see him on those little cut to commercial, hey, look, it's a highlight from another game. I think we're going to see a lot of him on this year. He was a lot of fun to watch.
198 yards, 3 touchdowns. Listen, complete offense. Or I'm sorry, for San Jose State, they had the offense cooking at one point. The defense, listen, you got outmanned a little bit, and that's fine.
Gracious him! How about